Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast,
your go-to destination for a unique blend of recovery and discovery.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Mark. And in this podcast, we will endeavor to create a safe and uplifting space for our guests and listeners to share their stories with sincerity and a touch of humor.
Remember, we are not a Glum Lot. The Glum Lot Podcast is more than just a source of entertainment. It's a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest moments, recovery is possible. Every story we share carries the power to inspire positive change.
So buckle up, get ready to listen, and join us in discovering the strength that lies within every individual's journey. This is the Glum Lot Podcast, where humor meets hope.
All right, Brett, welcome to episode 49 of the Glum Lot Podcast. We are glad you have tuned in to listen to us, aren't we, Brett?
I am ecstatic.
Okay, good. You sound it.
Yeah.
So as a reminder, please join our Facebook group, the Glum Lot Podcast Facebook group. And if you would like to contact us, we're always looking for new individuals to put on the program with us. You can contact us at the Glum Lot Podcast at gmail.com. Mr. Brett, what is on your mind?
Well, today I got a shipment in the mail today.
A shipment?
I just said today.
Did you say shipment or shipment?
Shipment.
Oh, okay.
Shipment. And it was I enjoy the old-fashioned way of shaving.
What does that mean? You use a piece of shale and scrape it on your face?
Very sharp shale, yes.
Yeah.
Animal fats that are rendered
Nice.
and just smear it over my face and
That's
scratch
fantastic.
it off. Yes,
that's fantastic.
It's a little musky, but that's all right.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, but anyways, I was thinking, boy, some of the things that I enjoy now that I never would have thought about enjoying back in the day. You know,
Yeah.
there are very, very few things I could enjoy, and this time it was a scent that I got today, and it was just, man, it was so good, made me feel good about myself. I felt clean.
It's good to feel clean.
Yeah. Anyways, but so just, I don't know. It's just those little things that you notice, right?
It is.
You may
those
not
little
notice.
things. It's a million little things, they say, but that's true. You know?
Yeah. It was simple. But
I'll tell you one of mine, and this is so weird, but I am. You know what I do a lot? I have contempt before investigation.
Uh-huh.
And my daughter ordered avocado. This is years ago. Avocado toast, and I'm like, avocado toast.
See,
what,
I'm
are you
already
kidding
there.
me?
Yeah. But it's good.
I love avocado toast. I make it all the time now.
Yeah, it's just those little things like that.
Spread
that before
some ripe avocado on there with some everything bagel seasoning.
Ooh, I've got the shaker myself.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things. I'd never been exposed to it. And it's a lot like, I don't know if people are going to remember what yuppies used to be. But there was a criticism of everything. Oh, that's a yuppie thing.
Thing.
Oh, you're a yuppie.
Yes, you're so high class.
Yeah. Oh, it's yuppie. Yuppie this, yuppie that.
Yuppies
and then it was hipster.
Yep. There's yuppies, and then there's NIMBYs. Have you heard that one?
I have not.
Not in my backyard.
Oh, what is that? Like
That's
somebody
just
who would
another,
say that?
just an uppity person. But anyway.
So, yeah, I mean, you're right. It once you take some time, because alcohol not only robs us of all the other things we talk about, it robs us of time.
Oh, and just the enjoyment of the little things. You know, it was just I was constantly in my head about everything that's wrong with the world, everything that's wrong with politics, blah 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 blah. Everything was just not good.
Yeah. So get sober.
Yeah.
Work the steps.
And get you some good cologne.
Change your life. And the step. Well, I was going to say step 13, but there already is a step 13. Ooh. Step 14. Get some good smelling cologne.
That's right.
Yeah.
And feel good about your. I don't know. I'm just going to stop there.
Feel good about your scent.
Yes, that's what I was going
scent
for, actually.
well,
I'm glad you finished that.
So anyways, we have a guest today that I have never met, but I'm very excited about because I have heard great things.
Oh, yeah,
about
I've witnessed it. Yeah, she's funny.
And
she's
very
good program.
Let's just get to it, shall we?
Yeah.
And let's welcome Cindy. Cindy, welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast.
Thank you.
And we are glad to have you here. Can we start with your sobriety date?
Yes, it's 12/5/1989.
Okay. And we like to rewind to the start when you first had an experience with the effects of alcohol.
Yes, like all the details.
I was 11.
Okay.
Nice.
And I had started my period.
Uh-huh.
And I went to my mom and I said, man, I heart. She said, sit down, I'll give you a glass of Genesee. And
Wow.
that was the beginning.
Oh my God! It started out as medication. Huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because when I was a kid, I mean, I'm 75 years old. So when I was a kid, you had a toothache. It was whiskey on your
Yeah.
gums.
Sure.
It was,
Yeah, I remember my dad doing
Sure.
that. Yeah. My father would get a toothache. He would sit at the kitchen table with a bottle of whiskey and drink and put it on his tooth and drink and put it on his
Yeah, put a cotton swab in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
let
just
it
let it
soak.
sit. That's right. Yeah, let it sit.
Let it soak. Unfortunately, my brain did that for a
It
number
sure
of
did.
years.
Made me
but-
just as numb, too.
So, you probably didn't drink enough to catch a buzz, did you?
Not that day I
Yeah.
didn't, but it did take care of the cramps. It was enough to really
Really?
take care of the cramps
sure.
from that being my first time. But that was the beginning, because then it started with my boyfriend was 4 or 5 years older than me at the time. I mean, my parents were pretty good drinkers, so on the weekend they were busy. They didn't really much care, you know.
Yeah.
And back then it was get the 6-pack, get the 25-cent pack of cigarettes out of the pull machine, and
Yeah.
you take that, you get a 6-pack, and you drive around in the car after the roller skating rink closed.
Just drink and smoke
That's
and
right.
be cool, right?
That's right. And then go find some place off where there was a dead end road or something, and do
Oh,
the parking.
yeah.
Then you get initiated, and
Yeah,
then
right.
life is real.
Good stuff. So, you're drinking enough for effect at this time to catch a
Yes.
buzz,
Oh,
right?
sure.
And do you fall in love with it, or?
I didn't. The first time I got really hammered as I was babysitting. This is awful.
Wow.
I'm loving this
I
already.
was babysitting, and they had a pint of slow gin in the house. I'd never seen that. I'd seen my folks were Genesee beer drinkers, Gallo Tawny Port, and a quart of Seagram's yellow gin, right? So I thought, well, what that is? So I put that with a little orange juice, and I drank the whole pint.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm out. And they come home, and I had puked all over the
Oh my
place.
God, they must have been mortified.
Oh, mortified. They were livid. They took me home, and of course, I never got in trouble. So, I mean, there was no consequences.
Yeah.
I was sick.
Oh, that's right. This was when you were babysitting.
Yeah,
I forgot
I was 12.
about that part already.
I was 12.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh my God.
That was my real first. That was my first.
I wonder if
drug.
they felt bad, like, oh my God, we should have never left that out.
Yeah, right.
We should have locked it up.
Yeah.
So,
Never drank
That
some
was a-
gin after that.
that was that was
not.
a bad experience, right?
Well, it was. I was sick, but what was bad about it? I mean, really.
So the effect was good.
Sure.
Okay.
Until I was gone. I didn't know I was
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Right? So I was a blackout drinker from the get-go.
Yeah.
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 And so you were, would you say 12 at the time?
12, yeah.
Into your teens, mid-teens, did you keep experimenting with alcohol?
Oh, not experience. We just flat out did it every Friday and Saturday night.
Okay, so it was a
that
ritual.
was the thing. Yeah, get the cigarettes, get the couple 6-packs.
And you were running with a crowd that's what you guys
Absolutely,
did,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so as it continues into your later teens, does it increase?
Oh yeah, of course, because it's like it's the thing to do. For me, I drink and I disappear. Someone else shows up. This incredible, famous, gorgeous
Yes.
person that everybody on this planet has got to have once, or you haven't lived.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
it boils down to that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, so it was like, yeah, I caught the fever.
Mm-hmm.
I caught the fever of being in an imaginary world of where everything was possible.
Yes.
Nothing was
Yeah.
impossible.
So how did that come into that affect school or anything?
No, because I followed my parents. My parents did not touch a drop from Monday until Friday.
Oh, okay.
When they get home, they come home from work. They're, they didn't have high school educations. Just blue collar workers. We lived in the country. They worked in the city. Come home, get us kids. They cash their checks. They go to the A&P or P, whatever it was at that time. Get their groceries. Get their 2 cases of Jenny, their quart of Seagrams, their gallon of Tawny Port, and 4 cartons of cigarettes. They're good for the week, right?
Yeah.
Until, of course, Saturday morning, you had to go. You got to go more.
Gotta go
more
re-up.
beer. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
So they took care of business.
Yeah, they always
Yeah.
fed us, and everything. The
Yeah.
house was like Better Homes and Gardens. They always rented. It was their philosophy was if you borrowed something, you returned it better than when you got it.
Okay.
Work ethic was impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
But
It
all
was a
hell
different
broke loose.
generation, yeah. My dad was a maintenance drinker, and he never missed a day of work. He was a great
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
provider.
Yeah.
He was an absentee father, but he was a great provider.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way a lot of people were back then. So what happens when you graduate from high school?
I didn't graduate.
Ah,
I did not
Do
graduate.
tell.
So my mom didn't. My dad didn't. I think my dad went to 9th grade or something. And my home was very violent.
Okay.
Very, very violent. Introduced to alcohol, but my first sexual experience was 4.
I got
Wow.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're growing up in a home that is that you want to escape?
I don't think I wanted to. No. I wanted to commit murder.
Oh,
No, it's
All
the
right.
truth.
Well,
It's the
sure.
truth.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill my dad.
so you went the other way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not leaving. You're going.
Yeah.
I mean, I because of the abuse,
Mm-hmm.
I got caught in school. I would fall asleep, and I got to get up, and so they got me down to the guidance counselor, and eventually, after about 2 months of peeking out the door, I finally would go into his office and sit. And I confessed of what was happening.
Okay.
And then they, of course, took me over to the county and said, you gotta sign papers saying this is true. And I did. Went home, told my mom. She told my dad, and he said,
Yeah, of course.
you take her back tomorrow and you make her say she lied, or somebody's going to die.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
you were put in an impossible situation as a child.
Yeah, at 12 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 12, because that had been going on even
Yeah.
before I started drinking. Oh, that's
So you end up leaving school early?
Well, yeah, so I turned him in, and then, of course, I had to go back and say I lied
Oh, so that
and
happens.
sign
yeah.
a paper. And then on the way out the door, I turned and said, you know what, I signed a paper, but it didn't lie.
Yeah.
But it had to go on that way. So, then I had
Yeah.
to live with this gentleman for
Right. Now,
till
I
I was 16.
don't think that would happen today.
Well,
But
probably
it was a
not.
different world back then, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, because even when he would beat my mom, my mother had a black eye every day of my childhood.
Yeah.
Every Saturday morning. And she'd call the police and, oh, come on now. And the cops would call him by and say, calm down, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. You just didn't arrest back then.
Sure.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
No, I know.
You just did not. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
uncalled for.
So you leave school early. Do you move out of the house?
This is what happened.
Okay.
I was always extremely athletic, loved to play sports. That was where I get my energy out because I was very angry for everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, they used to have what they call on, I think it was Green Thursday. And if you wore green on Thursday, you were considered queer.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I never heard of that.
Yeah, so if you wore green, you were out. You were a queer.
You were outed.
Right. That's all it was. So a lot of kids would wear green just for the hell of it, you know?
Yeah, right.
Well, at that point, and of course, and I'm still a virgin. I'm like 16 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't know that I don't know.
Right. You don't know
Right.
what's
know?
going on.
Right.
Right. And so and they said that I was, and I said I am not. And so they said, well, you're 16 and you're a virgin. Of course you are.
course, yeah.
Nobody's a virgin at 16. This is, what's the matter with you? This is
Yeah.
the early 60s. We're in drug, sex, and rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I am not, I'm not. So the guy I'd been dating for about 9 months, he come over that night, he says, what do you want to do? I said, well, what you've been wanting to do for 9 months.
Yeah, which has been pushing me to do.
All right, let's go, So we get to the nearest dirt road. And,
Yeah.
And
get in the
I'm no
backseat.
longer green.
That's right. Do your thing, right? Well, as luck would have it, and I'd say luck because I have learned in my sobriety that nothing on God's green earth has ever happened to me. It's always happened for me.
Okay.
So I'm entrusted, because I didn't know it then, but so I'm entrusted with this experience. Today I understand that. First time I do this, I get pregnant.
Mm.
The very first time.
And you're
My
16.
goodness.
And I am 16. So I am not, I don't know why I don't feel good. I don't know why I'm sick, because
Sure.
I don't know anything about anything, right?
Right.
So I found out I was pregnant, went up to the family doctor, and back then they were really point blank. He said, Cindy, you're knocked up higher than a kite. And this was,
And you're like, what do you mean?
yeah, well, and this is the doctor that delivered me at home when I was born,
Oh.
Yeah.
right? The same guy.
Yeah.
And he said, bring your boyfriend in. So I went and told my ex-husband what was going on. And he said, well, I don't know what we're going to do. And I said, well, I don't either. So Doc says, well, you got to tell your parents. Told my parents, and my dad said, well, you're going to marry her. And he says, I can't. I'm already married. So,
oh, shit.
Dude, this
I know,
is getting amazing.
Right. See, I'm 16. He's 24.
Damn.
Right. He's fresh out of the Navy.
You're in a pickle.
No, the pickle got me there.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's a pickle's fault.
That's right,
So what do you do?
So we got married anyway. Against the law, bigamy, of course, because his wife's in Philadelphia, and I'm here and we're here in this state, right? And so we got married. And I had my son, who is now 58 years old, and he's a therapist and lives in the same area, and we stayed married. And then I got pregnant for my second child because my mother said, if you're going to have kids, you got them close together. They won't be close. So we did that. And then...
so he's leading a double life.
He's leading a double life.
His wife doesn't know anything about this.
No, because she's in another state. Has no idea.
Is he financially supporting you and the kids? And my God.
He had a great job here locally. We had a Corvette Stingray convertible. We're doing great, right?
Wow.
Right. So
That's
then
crazy.
He works the second shift. The neighbor guy works the second shift. So his wife and I used to watch TV. We'd get our kids together. We'd watch TV. Yeah. And I'm right across the street. Kids are in tight. Everything is perfect. She gets up to change the channel, comes back, and she kissed me.
This is the neighbor woman.
That's right.
Okay.
Were you wearing green?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what do you make of that?
I went, holy shit! That's what's wrong with me.
So your eyes were opened.
Yes, everything was open. I'm like, so I go across the street to where I lived, and I lean up against the wall. I'm going, what the hell I do? I got 2 kids in bed, and I got a husband here working. What do I do with this? And I thought, well, the best I can hope for, because my husband occasionally would knock me around. We'd do what my parents did. We'd get drunk every weekend, and we'd fight,
Yeah.
And I thought, well, the best I can do is hope he beats the hell out of me one more time. Then I got an out,
You got to wait out, yeah.
And that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what happened. He broke my teeth, and he's a boxer from the Navy. Boy, he nailed me good.
She just laughs at that.
Well, I can't
you have to.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So you get out of that marriage.
Yes.
And for 2 reasons. One, because it's abusive, and the other because...
I found out who I was.
Yeah.
What am I going to do now? But this is in the early 70s.
Right. Still not socially acceptable and out like it is now.
But I came out like a fool. I didn't realize.
Now, what about the woman who was married that kissed you?
She never knew.
Wow. But she was attracted to you. She acted.
No. Oh, the woman kissed me.
Yeah.
She stayed with the husband. I said, what'd you do that for? She says, I'm just curious. And I thought, hell, I'm beyond curious. I'm on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, every cell in my body lit up like you'd stick your finger in these light sockets.
Oh, you're right.
Shit.
I didn't know that I didn't know.
Of course not.
Yeah. That's
I really
crazy.
did not know.
Okay, so now how was your drinking in all this?
Yeah.
Then it took off like you would not believe.
Now, do you feel troubled or conflicted at all, or afraid
today?
At this point? No, at that point in your life.
Death.
Yeah.
Scared to death.
Right.
Yeah, because I told my ex-husband came back to me about 4 months later, and it was our anniversary, and he got on his knees, and he said, I'm so sorry, I'll never hit you again, blah, blah. And I said, I can't.
Yeah.
He says, what do you mean? I said, I know I did the last time. I said, I can't now. I said, because I can't do this to you.
Yeah.
I said, I found out that I'm gay. And he was like, oh, boy, he blew his stack, Then he blamed, of course, on my father.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. That could be the only reason.
Yeah.
So are you alone with these 2 kids now?
Yes.
So it's you and these 2 kids, and you're out, right? Mm-hmm. And you're working?
No, I had to have a GED. I had quit school at 16, see? So the only job I knew to get was tend bar. That's where, so I'm up the street, and I'm tending bar, and I don't drink during the day, except for on the weekends. But I put the kids to bed at night, and of course I'm smoking a joint, and I'm drinking my beer, and I got Janis Joplin in my head screaming, freedom's just another world.
Wow, so are you like a full-fledged hippie at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Child of the 60s.
Yeah.
So you're bartending, you're drinking more than ever, you're smoking a little dope. Any other drugs?
I did speed for 3 years because I had to work so much overtime. Back then, you were lucky if you made 95 cents an hour.
Right. Yeah.
For me.
Right.
Now, and he's over here, he's making all this money, got a great job, and he's giving me the minimum. He gave me $40 a month for 2 children.
That's what his child support was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it never went up.
Oh, shit.
Never went up.
So, yeah, I mean, it really was a different time.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Nowadays, moms are protected. The court takes care of that. But back then, man, it was just a different world, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And a woman really was left on her own a lot.
Well, I couldn't get a credit card with his signature.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't do anything.
Mortgage, all that stuff.
That's right.
That's
So-
right.
Yeah, and he come at me one day. He says, "You can't. I'm going to take these kids." He says, "You're not a fit mother," and I said, "Great." And he looked at me. I said, "Let me get their stuff."
Yeah, he was bluffing, right?
Well, no, he wasn't bluffing. He
No?
was intimidating and power thing. He was a very controlling, scared. I think scared today man. You know, he was a good man, but he was an alcoholic. He was frightened like like I was. Yeah. So I said, okay. I said, I'll get their stuff. He said, well, wait a minute. He says, well, I thought I said, well, because if you can take these kids and you take them right now, then I get to do what I've wanted to do for the last few years. And he said, what's that? I said, kill you. He said, what?
Now, how old are you at this point?
I am 21, I think.
Okay.
21. I said, yes. I said, see, I know where you live. And see, you got to go to sleep. And I said, you see that shotgun over the mantle? You bought that for me because we used to go deer hunting together.
Yeah.
I had a 6.5 by 55 Norwegian sporting rifle, 7-clip. And I took a bullet about that long. And I said, I got my shotgun, Paul.
Yeah.
You taught me well. You taught me how to drive. You taught me how to shoot. I know ballistics. I said, we're all set. So I said, yes, if you go to court, I'll lose my kids forever. And I says, I'd die for these children. You will not take them. So you can either die, then I won't get them, but at least you
won't have them.
Get them. Yeah. He never brought the topic up.
I would imagine not.
Now, would you say, looking back, that at this point your life was unmanageable?
I didn't think so. I thought
At the time, you just do what you got to do, right?
I'm doing good. I'm surviving.
Definitely, you were in control.
Yeah.
So your drinking, your
drinking
drinking is ramped up, right?
Yes, because I found out there's such a thing as a gay bar.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm driving 45, 60 miles every Friday night to be with my people. Right?
Right.
Well, didn't I get a DWI?
No shit.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
this is in early 70s?
This is 1971.
Okay, so you got to be pretty drunk.
I wasn't drunk.
Really?
This was the cop, and I can't even say his name, would sit outside the lesbian bar,
Oh.
and he would pick you up, and he got me, and he drove me around all night long, and he said, if you'll do such and such, I'll let you go. I said, pull your gun out, because that's the only thing you're going to use, okay?
Right,
so
right.
you pull the gun out, put it to my head, we're good to go.
Mm.
And, of course, he went and got a female cop, and I went to jail. And I got out of that. And I worked nights at an ice cream company, and I worked with all men. I worked in the warehouse, and I loved these guys.
Sure.
And they said, well, we're going to celebrate. You got out of that with a bad muffler. Got me an attorney, right? The next morning, we went down to the local pub, and we got drunk. And on the way home, I passed out on the main highway, locked bumpers with a car of 4 elderly people from another country, and ended up with another DWI in 30
Yikes.
days. So
Was there consequences from that one?
lost my license. The judge said, I think you're an alcoholic.
Yeah. Did they do an evaluation back then or no?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. And he said, but I am going to take your license for 6 months. Conditional. That's it. You can just go back and forth to work, right? So that's what I did. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but at the time, are you thinking, boy, this alcohol is really becoming a
No,
problem?
I got mad.
Still didn't see it.
Well, no, because everybody else drank like I did. I just got caught.
Yeah. You're the
Because-
unfortunate one. Yeah.
because many times I would get picked up by the local cops. We all went to school together. God, one day they literally put a chain to my car, to the state police car, and pulled me out of the ditch and sent me home.
Right.
So I didn't see driving drunk as anything wrong. I just got caught by the wrong people, and I'm unlucky. Oh, poor me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there in the jail mad because they got me, and it's not fair. How come me and not everybody else?
So, does your disease progress?
Yes, it does, because the judge said to me, I want you to go to AA.
Okay.
And I said, what's that? And he told me. And so a friend of mine and I were getting high, and we got drunk one night. And I said, over here on this west end of the city, let's go see these idiots, right?
Yeah.
So she sat in the car. She said, I'm not going. I said, I'm going. So I go in, and I sit there, and I walk in the front door. And there's 5 or 6 old guys sitting there smoking cigars and a blue book, which I thought was a Bible because I heard the word God, right?
Right.
And then sitting there and I'm going,
What a drag.
yeah, there's nothing here for me. I'm 22, years old. There's not a woman around, just these guys. And they're like, and they were so kind to me and nice. But I said after about 5 minutes, see ya. So I've been sober since my second meeting, not my first.
Okay.
And there was a long
Wow.
spread between your first and second meeting, right?
72 to 89.
Yeah. What happened in that time? Did things really, really get bleak?
They didn't get so bleak because I can really hold a lot of booze, but I because I got a wonderful high paying job with a very well known company in this area. It was union paid, so I was getting equal pay.
Nice.
Got a gorgeous home. I mean, I'm doing great. Brand new car. I got money to blow away, but women don't need money. We can go out broke and come home with money in our pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
People are going to buy you drinks all night.
all night long, you come up with new uses for a pool table after the place closes, right? I mean, you make friends. Yeah, make friends.
Yeah.
Make friends and get by.
Yeah, you just have. I lived in the bars when my kids were going on the weekends. If they did go with their dad, I was in the
Yeah,
bar.
you were free.
Loving it.
On. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, during this time, too, socially, being gay is changing, right?
That's what they tell me.
You didn't see that, though?
Not then. It was hard. I mean, you were hated. You could lose your job. You could lose your home. They would take your children. You could be fired. Yeah. So you had to, and I didn't, I hadn't sense enough to be in the closet. I said, I'm going to be me. I'll take a bullet for it. To hell with it,
Yeah.
And I just was out and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I remember, you're about 10 years older than me, but I remember how it was just unspoken.
Yes.
Like people would know, but it was unspoken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, but, things have really changed a lot. Mm-hmm. And I guess you were there for a lot of that, right?
Well,
the changing.
I've got television interviews. They did a documentary on me. I mean, I was on the front page of the paper. I was at every march, and I just did everything.
You were an activist.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nice. And so during this time from that first meeting to the second meeting, your disease progresses, I'm guessing, right?
That's
You
what
start
they
drinking
said,
more.
yeah.
Does it stop working for you at any point?
It stopped working for me one night.
Okay.
I mean, I was a blackout drinker. But I thought, who cares? You don't need to remember. I can get away with murder if I say I don't remember, right?
Maybe.
Well, and I don't know.
We may be finding out.
Well, that's
Don't
it.
kill us.
I'm always guilty. I know that because I don't remember. But the
Right,
stuff I did that I remember, I became despicable, and that is the truth. Okay, that's the word I choose for
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
So when I did come in the rooms, it was like I came in on a joke. I had no intention of getting sober, no desire. There was no need.
What was the setup to get you to that meeting?
Well, I went out. A friend of mine came out Thursday night. It was Thanksgiving. She said, let's go have a beer. I said, fine. Went and had a beer. And for 4 days, I don't know where I was, what I did, who I was with. But I do, Saturday night, I went to bed I guess it would be Sunday morning, 5:30, woke up 2 hours later, and I laid there, looked at the ceiling, and I said, I don't ever want to do this again as long as I had this moment of clarity. I didn't know that had anything to do with alcohol. I really didn't. This was like a spiritual awakening I didn't know I had. So I went home from wherever I was, talked to some friends, and they said, well, that's all your parents' fault. You're a child of alcoholic parents. There's a Children of Alcoholics meeting over at the clubhouse on Sunday. Go and tell them your story.
So ACOA.
Yep. So I did, and I did my story, and there was a guy sitting here to the right of me, and he poked me, and he gave me this. We used to have little books, little tiny books of meetings in this area.
Oh, yeah.
And he handed it to me, he says, You're a chick that loves everybody. He's, holy hell. He says, go to one of these meetings. These people are idiots. You will go there left. You're ass off forever. He says, just go.
Yeah.
You just go once for me. He says, you'll have a blast.
Great show.
Oh, that's it. I said, absolutely. So I'm looking at this book. I'm thinking, ha, 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 ha.
Boy, what a salesman, huh?
Right?
Yeah.
Found me one. I went. It was a women's meeting. I didn't go to men's because I thought, that might be a little rough for me. So, and besides, I didn't know who else I had slept with, for God's sakes. I'm pretty safe in
I
this
know that
area.
guy, that guy.
Right. I still wonder when they come in the rooms. I'm telling you, they say hi, Cindy. I'm like, holy shit, yeah.
So you go to this women's meeting.
Yes, and I go in, and this woman says, Cindy, hi, how are you? And I go, oh my God, where have you been? Because I tended bar, right?
Oh,
okay.
no kidding.
Oh, well, I've been here for years. We got a seat for you. So, well, wait a second. I'm just visiting tonight.
I'm just here for the show.
That's it. I'm visiting. Sit down. And of course, you want to know, first meeting, give them a little bit of my story. I think, I'll just give them the crap, right? And halfway through the meeting, sent a basket around, put my dollar in. At the end of the meeting, he said, you want to say anything? Yeah, I said, you gals, stay. Your life sucks. This is really rotten stuff. I don't ever leave. You need to be here. But I'm going. And that woman that I knew from Tenerife, she got up, she brought the basket over, and she said, take your dollar out. I said, why? She says, we only accept money from ourselves. You're not an alcoholic, right? I said, no. And I thought, well, you indignant bitch. How dare you?
Right.
My money's
How
not
dare
good
you
enough for
put me on the spot?
Exactly.
Let
Well,
me just slide
my
out.
money's not good enough,
Right.
Right? So she said, I tell you what. She says, if I remember correctly, you would love to take a bet. I said, yep. She says, I bet you can't go to 90 meetings for 90 days. You don't put your dollar in that basket. You put it in a jar. And then at the end of 90 days, you can go out and get drunk. And I thought, stupid bitch, doesn't she know you don't need any money as a woman and have any money to go out and get drunk for God's sake?
She has so much to learn.
Right, but but the thought was, it's a challenge. You bet me
Of course
something.
it is.
I'm on, right? So I took the challenge. And I'm going to this local club down here. And after about 2 weeks, I thought, oh, my God, I'm alcoholic.
You came to the realization after hearing your story in the rooms?
Heard everybody else.
Yeah. And you're like, that's me. That's me. That's me. I didn't know it, but that's me.
Yeah.
Boy, that's really, that is really the magic of AA. And, you know, I'm talking to somebody right now who has a person in their life who has a bad alcohol problem. And I just touched base with her today. And I said, take this woman to meetings in your area. I said, the women in those meetings will come to her. Oh, yeah. And they will take care of whatever they need to take care of if she wants to get sober. So I actually spoke with her today. And she said, well, she's been doing online meetings. And I'm like, online meetings? Nope, can't do it. No. I said, online meetings for people that got a lot of sobriety and maybe one a week or whatever. But I'm like, she's got to meet people. They got to have interaction with her before and after the meeting. They have to get her number. They have to text her, call. I said, all that will happen for her, but she cannot get this online. I don't know how. It would almost be like going to the bookstore and buying the big book and getting sober from reading it.
Yeah. No.
To me, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I need that human connection, and you found that.
No, I didn't.
No, what happened?
Because when I realized, then I read that how it works, and it says, honest, open, and willing. Now I'm very black and white. If I get in, I'm in all the way. I don't tiptoe into anything. Okay. So I said, okay, I'm not drinking ever again. That's it. I'm done. Right? No matter what, I am done. Yeah. So I had read how it works. Said honest, open, willing. I heard people say the worst thing that can happen to someone in AA is you must tell your secrets. If you don't do your fourth and fifth step, you'll drink again. I thought, well, I'm not drinking because I don't want to be that woman. It wasn't even about the booze for me still at that time. And so they asked for announcements. I raised my hand and I said, well, I am an alcoholic, and my name is Cindy, and I'm a lesbian. Well, you could have heard a pin drop.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Right?
I know, right?
So this one guy in the far corner stood right up. He goes, pointed at me, he goes, don't you know even your own God hates you?
What?
Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
And I said, yes, sir, I do. But it says right up, because I'm a defiant little bitch, right?
Yeah.
I said, right up there in the third tradition, the only requirement is a desire to stop drinking.
Yeah, take that.
I can be kicked out of my home, lose my kids, but you can't move me out of this seat.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And that man kept me there. His hate for me brought my defiance, and I said,
Just for that, I'm
the
staying.
third tradition.
That's
I'm
another
staying.
challenge.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And I would bring up topics just to piss him off.
Did he ever say anything to you after that?
He eventually became my very best
Isn't
friend.
that something?
No kidding.
And he came to me when he had prostate cancer and he had 4 months to live, he told me. And at that time, I had a full practice at the time. I was a Reiki master.
Ooh.
And he said, you got to help me, Cindy. And that was in 2002. And he had one session with me. And I moved to Arizona later that year, sold my practice. And every year for 5 years, he sent me a check for $100.
Oh, my
Okay.
gosh.
Saved me for saving his life and thanked me. And then I think it was 2011 or something, he died of a heart attack. But we loved each other. He was a really wonderful
So
man.
he really turned it around. I mean, man,
Yeah, well,
that's huge.
He didn't. When people are afraid, and
That's
our
right.
alcoholics are afraid,
You're not like me?
yes,
Yeah.
it's a threat. And people don't realize that there are no two people on the planet with the same fingerprints. God
right.
designed us to all be different.
Yeah.
But I didn't learn that right away, and so my point is I couldn't get a sponsor. They say ask one for coffee. I did. She said, oh, I'm not like that. I said, like what? I see you with a white cup.
Yeah. What do you mean? You don't drink coffee?
That's what I said. She said, no, I'm not like that. I'm not of your persuasion. I said, I'm not trying to persuade you.
anything.
Right.
I said they said I can't do that. I can't do that. So I vacillated between the women who wouldn't be my sponsor and the guys who wanted me to jump the fence for them, right?
Oh, right.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
It was a couple of guys there. They just wouldn't leave me alone.
They wanted
they're
to
gonna
bag
fix
a
you.
lesbian.
There
right?
you go, right?
Yeah.
Because if you get the right
I'll
one, you're
turn
going
ya.
to jump, right? right? But
right.
but at the same time, I wouldn't do my third step because being Catholic, if you go to Jesus or God with your problem, He can take that away from you. And I thought, I no way in hell I'm going to do that.
I like that.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I've done that. Been the other place. Not my cup of tea. This, and it's not even the sexual part. It's the
Yeah.
I can have sex with men. I can have sex with, but I can't fall in love with men.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
How
It
did you
really
find
is.
your second and third step in sobriety?
See, I'm sober a year and a half in the rooms by myself. I'm going to meetings 2 or 3 times a day because they say people, places, and things. My family wouldn't speak to me. My own children wouldn't speak to me. How dare you? We're not. You're bringing shame to the family. You're
yes.
alcoholic.
Yeah.
My mom was my drinking buddy. No way. I can't believe you're doing this to us. So it was family. I couldn't go to the bars.
Now, when you say doing this to us, you mean getting sober?
Yeah.
Or being out?
Being sober. I came out in 72 to them.
So shit, they're ashamed of you for being sober?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeez, that is crazy.
So, and my daughter wouldn't speak to me because I got sober. Then I think you were still.
Because they don't know how to deal with you.
Well, but no, she wanted to bond with me like I bonded with my mom
Oh.
So she thought drinking was the way?
because that's what she saw.
Yeah.
Children don't do what we tell them; they do what they see.
Yeah.
And like you say, when we're alcoholic, we're there, but we're not there. We're not emotionally there.
Right, right.
So, besides my kids were raised in open lesbian world, how hard that must have been for them. I didn't realize that then. I would have been more subtle, but I didn't know. I'm still that angry little 4-year-old girl that wants to beat the hell out of everybody for not even knowing why, right?
Yeah.
So I had no family. I couldn't get a sponsor. I'm going to the meetings where people hate me. I'm out in my car crying before I go in, but I know I gotta stay
go there.
sober.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be the old bar slut I was for years. Because see, when you start a child at that early age of sex, that's what she carries in and thinks, well, all my validation comes from touch, no matter how inappropriate it is.
So how did you arrive at this understanding of the second and third step?
At a year and a half, I did get me an alcohol counselor because I couldn't get a sponsor. And she had me journal. And she says, your journal in the morning, during your break, read what you wrote, blah, blah, blah. I did that, and it looked like I was going to take my own life. Now, I've never been suicidal. Homicidal? That's your sweet ass.
Yep, we've heard.
yeah.
Yep.
Tear your arms off? Love to do it. Give me a minute, right?
Yeah.
I am now scooching to the left.
Well, like I said at a meeting one day, and there was this great big guy there. God bless his soul. His name is Andy. And we were talking about getting back, and I said, I'm a peeler. And he's sitting across the room, and I said, I would just like to take a tiny knife and cut and then peel. And he's a great big guy. He'd come over to the meeting after and said, I never want to be your enemy. I only want to be your friend. And we've been wonderful friends since.
Wow.
But anyway, so at a year and a half sober, it looked like I was going to do that because my family didn't want me. I couldn't go to the bars. That was the only place gay people would go.
Yeah.
I only had the people in AA. They didn't like me, wouldn't have coffee with me. Why be here? Nobody needed me.
Yeah.
I didn't even need me. I couldn't drink, couldn't drug. No one I could talk to?
Hell.
Yeah. Lonely.
Yeah.
Lonely. I'm bored.
That's a bad spot for us.
Yeah. And so the loneliness. So I've carry a pistol for over 40 years. I've had a pistol. So I called somebody that I knew and I said, please go to my home. I'll meet you there. I have my pistol. It's loaded. It's in my underwear drawer. Why do we put our guns in our underwear drawer?
Because nobody's going to look there.
Okay, all right. Now, they got that and they put it in their trunk, and I sat there and I thought, I heard a girl talk about in a meeting one night about how she dealt with her incest at Sierra Tucson in Arizona. That was the rehab. So I called my job next day and I said, I'm not coming in. I've got to go. I said, or I'm going to be a dead woman. Well, your insurance won't cover it. And I said, well, then I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
It was rated the second best in the United States at the time. I went and cashed out my credit card, took every cent I had, got on a plane, went. Little sign out there that said, expect a miracle. They wanted to put me on medications because I said I was suicidal. I said, look, if you can't give me somebody who can do their damn job, then let me get the hell out of here. I'm not here to be medicated.
Right.
I'm an addict, okay? So they put me in my therapy for 30 days in-house with all men. With a male therapist. I told them they were nuts. They said, give us a minute. I worked through all of that. Hate. I had to do 1 through 5 before I come home. I was able to forgive my father. I was able to forgive. I had been raped by 3 guys in a van one night when I was walking down the street, picked up. I was able to do my forgiveness for my ex-husband, who was pretty darn brutally mean, right? And I was able to come home and do that, and there while I was there, and this is going to sound really strange to you, but I'm telling you, they put me through a guided meditation, never done it in my life, and they said, we want you to experience the first time your parents had sex when you were conceived, and I thought, I can't do that, but they talked, and after about 15 minutes, they said, what voice? I want to know the first voice you hear. And I told him, I said, I heard the voice of God.
Oh, shit.
Upon your conception.
Yes. And I heard the voice of God, and I could see my mom. She was 5 months pregnant. Her back was to my dad, and she had her hand on her stomach. And you want me to tell you what he said? So my dad said, this better not be another fucking girl. And my mom knew it was. And God said to me at the time, and I'm 5 months in my mom's stomach, and he said, Cindy, if you want to be born, you can be born, but if you don't, I'll have her abort you right now. He says, I can have you be a stillbirth or whatever. And he says, your life is going to be hard, really hard, but I need you. I need you. You must be the student before you have, I need you as a teacher. There's a lot of people out there that have experienced the experiences you're going to have, and you need to be there for them someday. If you'll do that for me, I swear to God. We didn't say it.
I swear to me.
Yeah, I swear to me. Someday your life will be beyond your wildest dreams. And that was the name of my first CD. And I come out of there forgiving my dad, knowing that I was entrusted with these experiences. Nothing ever happened to me. I couldn't be me today if I hadn't been little Cindy. And they taught me in there, she went through that. What the hell are you bitching about? She's the one that did the work. All you got to do is remember it, Forgive your enemy or you will become him.
That's right.
Not that you'll
Become the
do what
slave.
he did, but you will keep attracting abusers into your life. Okay? So I'm not an abused child. I have experience. I call it things I must experience. That's time. I tell my sponsees, circle the must. What does must mean? You have to do it. So when I realized that I agreed to be in this life, then I'm no longer a victim. I'm a gift.
So you found this. You found this in that rehab.
Yes.
You had a spiritual experience.
Yes.
It's profound.
Yes.
Changed your whole outlook on life.
Yes.
You come out of there. You come back, and you're a new person.
Yes.
You're a different person.
Yes.
Now you have an understanding of everything that's happened.
Yes. And I've
somewhat
never
at peace with it.
I've never had a sponsor to this day. I sponsor about 20 people.
Yeah.
So but I had this experience a year and a half. 2.5 years later, my daughter calls me one Friday night. Mom, Tim just beat me up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, honey, get yourself in a safe place. Promise me. Mom, I will. She puts a gun in her mouth and blew her head off.
Jesus Christ.
I don't have to drink.
Right.
I don't take a tranquilizer. To this day, I don't take an antibiotic. That's where I got involved in the Reiki. That's where I got involved in that, to heal the body, mind. AA is wonderful.
Sure.
Steps and traditions, but this is body, mind, and spirit. And if you don't get rid of that old stuff and get it out of the body, it's never going to go away. So you can get that out of your body.
So in your sobriety, you found this path, this truth for yourself, right?
Yes.
And you share that. That's the point, isn't it? To share it.
Yes. I have no secrets.
Yeah.
I have got tapes, CDs.
I was
going to
say, so how have you shared it? What's been your
at
experience
conferences, at AA conferences,
AA conferences?
and I'm out there with the incest, the beatings, the rapes, the being gay, the everything, the not having a sponsor, never having a sponsor.
Sure.
You know, so I can't trust you, and I can't trust you. I can't trust you, but I trust God will give me everything I need, and thank God, not what I want. Because if I say I want or think, I know I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're sponsoring people?
I sponsor men, women, and transgender.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh, that's
I
fantastic.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Everybody has a right to be sober.
You know something interesting, too? We had a guy on last episode, in fact. He's a stand-up comedian, travels all over the United States doing shows. And one thing he did say was AA is not the same everywhere. There are some places where if you go to a meeting and you're transgender, they will not let you in. They will not accept you.
I don't see how they can do
Not
that.
most places, but apparently there's some places he's been where it's kind of funky like that still.
Well, it's because humans are involved.
Yeah.
They're in fear.
But I mean, I think things have come a long way, you know, and I think AA's come a long way too. And the thing about AA is it changes with the times because it really has to.
Yes,
you know?
it does.
Same thing with like the drugs. I mean, when I first came in '89.
Oh, wonderful.
And if you mentioned a drug, people jumped on you. And nowadays, it's a little more, we keep it to alcohol. But if drugs are part of your story, drugs are part of your story. So I'm glad it's changing with the times. And you've seen firsthand probably a lot of big changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to throw chairs when I first came in. They smoked when I first came
Me
in.
too. Yeah, I remember
yeah.
cleaning ashtrays.
Yes.
That was my assignment. And I was a reformed smoker, and I was like,
Me too.
This is gross. We used to break off into a non-smoking meeting. Did you do that too? Yeah. Stamping the papers, all that shit back
there'd
then.
be a pile of
Yeah, right? I know.
But I wouldn't
My
stamp them
God.
until after the meeting.
Me neither.
Right.
And if somebody, because a lot
they
of guys
might
would
get
drop them and
something.
split,
Yes.
I wouldn't sign their paper. And they'd be like, well, you signed the paper. I'd be like, but you weren't here. Well, you got the paper. I said, well, here you go.
But God speaks through the people. You've got to hear it,
That's
to know
right.
who you are, to find you, whether you're alcoholic or anything. We find ourselves in AA. And then if we don't love that 6 and 7, if we don't like it, we tweak it. Yeah, I didn't like this today. No place for shame in AA. There's room for, I call it guilt. If you did it, own it, forgive yourself, make your amends, don't ever do it again as long as you live.
Yeah. Yeah, we will never forget the past nor wish to shut
Yeah.
the door on it, but we know better now.
Yes.
And we
So
know that
do
there's a
better.
way to not do it, right?
Yes, we act our way into a new way of living.
That's it.
Excellent, yeah. Well, we're at the end of our time,
Okay.
but fascinating conversation.
Man.
Heavy stuff. Great stuff. I'm so glad you shared with us.
Oh, thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Until next time on the Glum Lot Podcast, I'm Mark.
I am Brett.
And Cindy.
As we wrap up another episode of the Glum Lot Podcast, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who tuned in today. Navigating the path to recovery from alcohol and other substances is a journey filled with challenges, triumphs, and self-discovery. Remember, we're not affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous, but we're here to provide a safe space for open conversations about the complexities of recovery. Your stories, courage, and resilience inspire us and our listeners alike. If you or someone you know is on the transformative journey, know that you're not alone. Join us next time as we continue to explore the diverse facets of recovery. Until then, stay strong, stay connected, and remember that each day is a step towards a brighter, sober tomorrow. Thank you for being part of the Glum Lot community.